Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on News Radio WGNS, FM 100.5, FM 101.9, AM 1450, online and on your phone at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Seriously looking for solar power generation? Well, MTE offers a free consultation with an energy expert and has an entire library of educational resources. Learn more at mte.com/prosolar. Well, my guest today is the one and only Jolene Radnoti, the Executive Director of Read to Succeed. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. I like the clap with MTE.
Yeah,
You're a fan?
Yes, I'm a huge fan. They do a lot in the community, so we appreciate them.
Yeah, the sharing change is a big thing that helps nonprofits like yourself, I'm sure. Yeah. So, Read to Succeed. There may be someone listening. We were just talking before going on about how many people are moving into this area, and us natives are getting fewer and fewer that have been born, raised, and all that kind of thing here. So with so many new people in, they may not be familiar with Read to Succeed. So what is it you do?
So, Brian, Read to Succeed is a nonprofit that promotes literacy for free in Rutherford County for adults and children through programming and events. And we've been doing this since 2003. So we work with pre-K students monthly at Murfreesboro City Schools and Mid-Cumberland Head Start. We provide programming and read to them, and brand new books go home for that home library. We do family literacy nights at elementary schools across the whole county. And we have culturally relevant high school book clubs. And then we also, because, the children have to learn, but if their parents are struggling, they aren't able to help their kids. So we also have adult literacy side where we help folks obtain their high school diploma or whatever their literacy goal is. So we tutor for adult basic education, and then we do English as second language classes throughout the county, virtually and in person at several sites. We offer citizenship classes and conversation hour. And so we're ages, birth to 99, I'll say.
You made me tired just talking about all that. When Read to Succeed started, its primary goal was to help children, right?
Yes, to supplement and help with enrichments with the school systems to get those kids where they needed to be. Because the more that reading is modeled for them, the more that they're in front of books and the more vocabulary they hear, the easier it is to start to read. So programming started with that, and then they saw parents were struggling to help their kids. So then the adult literacy side started, and it's been going gangbusters since.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So that's the great thing about what you all were able to do from your start. It takes a while to get a nonprofit up, going, successful, but then to see where we're making inroads here, but there's also another problem we're seeing because of the things that we're doing here. And so to react to that, sometimes it's easy to say, well, that's not our problem, but
it is. And,
but it is, yeah.
with here's statistics. 1 out of 6 adults are at or below a third grade reading, writing, and math level. Of those 1 out of 6, 72% of their children are more likely to continue that cycle. So we need to break that cycle. We need to help the parents be where they need to be successful for themselves and for their family. And then we need to help those children, find that love of reading and give them that strong foundation. Sand is not strong, concrete is. And literacy is concrete.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
You've been working on that, haven't you?
That's my tagline.
I'm sure you, like every other person that I run into, not just nonprofits, but what they do in their business, everyone has their elevator speech. So is that part of yours right there?
It's one of them.
One of
them. I have a lot of different ones. I also have the mustard story. I'll share that with you sometime.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's do that. So, Read to Succeed has certainly throughout the year, you have many kind of signature events, reading in the schools, that kind of thing. And so you're still very involved on that side as well, obviously.
Yes, we still have Reading in the Schools Day. In fact, it'll be September 12th this year, 2025. We do in April, we always do a Read to Be 6th grade spelling bee. So we are just highlighting literacy with all the 6th grade schools. They do their internal spelling bees with each class, and then per school they find the winner and alternate. We do a bee that way. We are at all events like Juneteenth and anywhere someone wants us to be there. If we can't be there, we'll make sure books are there.
Yeah.
So that's our goal, is to make sure we put books in the hands, hearts, and minds of the kids and just celebrate literacy.
As close as I got to fame was in second grade, and I was the runner-up. Annalise Wormy was actually the winner in second grade level, and there was, like, you went from your school to compete against other schools, and it was kind of fun. So, but that went away for some reason, but now we've got the sixth grade bee, so that's cool.
Yes, or when you're an adult, you could always be part of the celebrity spelling bee, which you did.
I did. My goal was not to be the first out. I didn't think I could make it to the end, and I did. I was like middle of the pack, so. I can't remember my word now. Dan Whittle, bless his soul, who was with us, he used to make fun of me. That's how long ago it was. Said, I can't believe you couldn't spell that word. And I asked him to spell it, and he couldn't. So that's okay. But great work that Read to Succeed does. Let's explore the classes a little more, because there's an important date coming up, 1st of June, just a few days away from here. And it's important. Why? Because June 1st is a big day for you guys, right?
Yes. June 1st is when we open registration for our English as second language classes. We call it ESL or ELL, but we are working diligently to get tutors to volunteer. So folks that want to volunteer, they don't need to speak a language. We will give them all the tools they need to be tutors, but we need tutors. Because our classes are growing. We had over 600 folks register last year,
wow.
this year. The sad thing is we could only service 500 because we didn't have enough tutors. But we are at several sites. We are at Motlow to help out on that side of town. We're at St. Rose on Saturdays. We're at First United Methodist off of Thompson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then First Presbyterian Church, and then we offer online as well, daytime and evening classes. So we're trying to meet people where they are, because we're Rutherford County based, and so not everybody has the Rover or whatever it's called now.
Sure.
So our ESL classes, we want to let folks know that they're a year-round class. So we'll start at the end of August, early September. We'll be off like when Rutherford County's off for fall break, all those things, holidays. But
kind of like a school schedule.
It's a school schedule because
there's inclement weather, that kind of thing too, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you're in like say Unit 5, and then you have a new beginner come in, you can't go backwards and start over. And that new beginner learning a new language can't come in when they're on Unit 5. So once we get registration going and we give it a few weeks to get everybody where they need to be, we close registration. So it's imperative, if someone wants to take our course, everything's free. We give you all the materials you need, but it's imperative that they register as soon as possible. Once they register, they'll have an intake that they do virtually, so they still don't have to come in. We do the intake so we'll know how to place them, and then we get them set up for what's the best fit for them, if it's online or whatever site. And if we get more folks that are tutors, we have a lot of community partners willing to open their doors to let us teach class, but we just need those individuals that are willing to give of their time and change the trajectory for a whole family, Brian.
So June 1st is when registration starts.
Yes.
So you mentioned last year you had 600, only had room for 500. So, I mean, is it a first come, first serve in terms of registering?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's why June 1st is important.
That's why June 1st. So we open registration June 1st. Lines may be busy, but if you go to our website, www.readtosucceed.org, if they go to our website, it says adult literacy. They click that. There'll be a registration there. And the beauty of it is on our website, they can click at the top. We only have 2 languages, but our website will switch to Spanish or Arabic. So that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So, but we want folks to register. We want them to be set up and know, we'll get them set where they need to be so they can be successful, so they can in turn help themselves have sustainable employment, communicate with their neighbors and friends, and help their children.
So you brought up something that just made me think about, I would assume that with those being the two languages on your website that you can change to, are those the two largest populations or different languages? Or
Yes, and I mean, we do have some Farsi. I mean, we have 26 different languages,
Yeah.
but that's our primary. Those are our primary two that we're seeing.
Dr. Sherry Sutherland, the principal at Smyrna, has been on before, and I remember her saying that at Smyrna High School there are over 50 different languages spoken. I mean, it's wild to think.
So imagine a school trying to figure out how
Yeah.
to give you just need one ESL teacher, but there's other things that are needed to help with all those different languages I bless them, bless
Yeah.
the school system for all they're doing to help these folks that are coming in here. But
Well, I'm sure they would say the same thing about you, because as you mentioned, maybe their children are, but their parents, if they don't understand how to communicate with the teacher, we need to do this or that to help your child. I mean, it's important, and I'm sure that they struggle with communicating sometimes.
yes, they have to get liaisons that come to the the 504s or any of their meetings just to have those, or the parent takes the child out of school to go fill out whatever form. So this way we're giving them the tools they need. So to do that, we are just a small staff of 5. I'm the only full-time, and I have 4 part-time. So everything is done by volunteers. We have the most giving group. So if they feel led, Brian, I'm asking them to think about it, and we will provide tutor trainings this summer. We have one we had one early May, but we'll have June, July. We will make sure we give the tools. So if somebody feels led, wants to share their time and change a family's life, it's fun, it's easy, and you will gain new friends and actually families. We just had a tutor, her whole class, she was at First Presbyterian, her whole class bought her a gift and took her to dinner
Oh, nice.
at Puckett's. She just posted it, and how rewarding tutoring is. So we want to help the folks so they can make a difference for themselves and make a difference in our community, because the more they know and they could work and be self-sustaining, that helps our community. So-
Jolene Radnoti with us, Executive Director of Read to Succeed. Another question that just popped into my mind. In recruiting tutors, what are some of the I would think fearing a language barrier is the number one fear for them to move into that.
Yes, but you just need to speak English
Yeah.
and have a heart to help. We will give everything else. We use the Venture series. It's a great curriculum, and everything's laid out for them. We make it as easy as possible. But yeah, that is scary if you don't know, a language. But
what are some of the other fears that outside of the language barrier? What are some things that you hear from potential tutors?
well, you know what, Brian? Sometimes you forget those grammatical rules, and they may ask you, and they're like nervous. I'm just like, well, look it up right there and say, you know what? I've forgotten that. I'm 52,000 years old. I'll look that up for you. I mean, I don't remember all the grammatical
Sure,
rules,
absolutely.
So, things like that. But it's always like, hey, we'll let's look it up together, or I'll get that answer to you. I don't know that answer. If you don't know the answer, they can reach out to us. But usually it's that kind of thing. Like, well, why is it that way? Why is it I before E? It's because the English language is so messed up is why,
And I guess that goes to say you don't have to have every single answer.
No, you don't. You don't.
So
You don't. You're there to help them, and you don't have to be Aristotle to come and tutor.
There you go.
You just need to have a heart and a willingness to help.
So for tutors specifically, do you go on to readtosucceed.org? And
Yes, they can fill out for volunteer, or they can call us at 615-738-7323, or reach out to on our website, www.readtosucceed.org. They can go to staff. They can find our office. Our staff is there, and they can hit adult literacy and email that adult literacy coordinator direct, or myself.
Well, I will put a link to all of the things that we talked about, and specifically the tutors and the registration So on June 1st, remember June 1st, and the early bird gets the worm.
Yes, encourage your friends that are here from other countries that are struggling with literacy, no matter what their level, basic to level 4. We now have started doing transitions to help them move on since they're done with the program.
Awesome.
So,
Well, good stuff. Jolene, always glad to have you along with us.
thank you, Brian, and thank you, WGNS.
Absolutely. Proud of our friends at Read to Succeed. Again, readtosucceed.org. We'll have links up on the podcast section shortly at WGNSradio.com. This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John